Hello, 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 and welcome to ERO F5. Jesus, I haven't played this game in a while. I'm your commentator, Sparrow Maltby. Today we're here for the Italian Grand Prix. Where's Longson at? There he is. Alright, let's see. I need to... Wrongson had asked this required, well, asked this to be played. And there we go, that's all I'm going to put. And that's it, here we go. 4 people's laps, who's first? Here goes Bastian Vries into turn 1, exiting the first chicane now into the Curva Grande. I need to load up the stream and I need to turn off the volume and get the chat loaded up. There we go. Through the second chicane, now goes Vries into Lesmo 1. Into the second Lesmo. Down to 4th gear, revving the engine a lot. DRS wide open now, draining a bit of battery. Down underneath the old banking. Now up into Ascari, braking as late as you want. Down to 5th gear, flat through the rest of the chicane. Now down into Parabolica. He goes. Flinging it round the final corner. Draining the battery on exit. And he's going to go across the line to set a 20.5. Next up is not Quesadilla. It's not him. It's Suchol. Across the line, 19.7. Good luck by him. Next up is probably Sweaty Chicken, then Elliot Parker. Remco goes P4. Elliot goes P2. Good luck by him. Next up is Mr. David Sweckelsteck. I don't know which one. It used to be one, now it's another. And across the line he goes. It's a 19.9. Next up is the Ferrari of João Santos. Into Parabolica. Getting a nice run through there. He's going to go top with a 19.3. Great lap by him. Next up is the Romanian of Callum Clark. Across the line, it's going to be a 20.1. Next up is... Oh, Charlie Roberts goes P3. I didn't see that. What's across the line? Before... Callum. Next up will be a Swede of Joel Harris. Here we go, here goes the Swede of Joel Harris. Upshift, please. That was very late on the upshift. Really don't judge. Heavy into the braking zone of turn 1, getting the car nicely slowed down. Then an alright exit out of the corner. Needed a bit of overtake. Down through the Curva Grande. Into the heavy braking zone of the second chicane, which I think is Della Roggia. Into the first slot of the Lesmos. Into the second Lesmo now, taking a lot of inside curb and a lot of outside curb as well. Now, underneath the old banking. Into Ascari now, heavy on the brakes, down to 5th gear, keep it as flat as you want. Drain a bit more battery, up into 8th gear eventually. It's going to round the final corner. Very sharp on the turn in there. It's going to be exiting the final corner across the line. It's going to be a 20.0. Next up was going to be an Irishman in a Ferrari. Turns out not. Are the Ferraris going to give each other a tow here? There we go, on board with Darius. Oh, this is teamwork at its finest. Getting a tow from his teammate is Darius. Into turn 1, braking as late as he wants. Flicking it into the second part of the chicane, not going down to second, which is a bit surprising. But now, picking up the throttle through Curva Grande. Into the Della Roggia we go, as Quesadilla goes P4. Round the first Lesmo. Close to invalidating there. Through the second Lesmo. Bit of inside curb. Straight in the corner off DRS open. Underneath the old banking now. Into Ascari. 12.5 seconds up on his time. Exiting Ascari. Up through the gears into 8th gear. Gonna go now into Parabolica to round off the lap. Getting very close to invalidating on the final corner. It's gonna go across the line. It's gonna be P8 with a 20.1. Next up is Daniel in the Red Bull. Potentially getting a tow from his teammate. So now go through the first Lesmo. Into the second Lesmo. Getting another slipstream from his teammate Elliott. Underneath the old banking now. Through Ascari. Draining the battery. Down the straight. Through Parabolica down to 5th gear, taking a tighter line on through the corner and across the line. It's going to be a 20.3. Next up it's Isford, who's not used any battery on his lap, and he goes into the pits. Next up, oh, unsafe pit exit, that blooming heck. Here we go. Through a Scary. Oh! He's out. He's had a little upsie. He's Joe Harris. Is he now right on board? With the kick salber of David Sweck or I'm going to call him David. It's much easier. Here we go, through the first Lesmo. That's a bit wide by the Alpine behind him in Charlie Roberts. DRS wide open now. Yellow flags further up ahead. This could be a bit interesting. That's a V-carb getting out the way. David's approaching that area now, where there's a bunch of cars chilling there. Now rounds Parabolica for the final, not the final time, to round off his lap across the line. It's going to be a 19.3. Barely off. The pole time by half a tenth. Here comes Suchol to start his lap. Using DRS, draining the battery now into the first chicane. I am going to switch over to T-Rex. Excuse me. Now I'll go underneath the old banking. Through a Scary, down to 4th gear surprisingly. Flicking the car. On the, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Into Parabolica as Callum Clark goes P3. And is now slow into the first chicane. Cross the line for the T-Rex. It's going to be P10, 20.2. Darius is left. Quick. Send him an invite. There we go. Who's next then? Suchol's not on a lap. Callum Clark's gone off. He's admiring the escape road. Love to see it. People learning the escape road. So they know when to use it. Here we go. With Nick Hill. Heavy on the brakes. Locking the rears. He spun it into turn 1. Suchol in the pits. All of C-Rex's battery's gone. He's invalidated his lap. He's just chilling. And he's run out of fuel now. Marvellous. Who's next? Isfod's probably going to be up next. Here we go, with Isfod to start. Essentially his final flying lap. Going down into the first chicane. Nice and low to the brakes, a loss of inside curb. Getting a bit slidey on exit. So now goes through the Curva Grande. Bit of a wide entry. Using a bit more battery. Diving into the second chicane of Della Roccia. Through the first Lesmo. And he's invalidated. Ow. A lot of inside curb there by Nick Hill. Across the line, it's going to be 25-0. This spot going through the Dolorosa, invalidating there. Who's going to be the first one to start there? It's going to be Remco. Heavy into the brakes. Oh, a lot of inside curb there by Remco. Through the Dolorosa chicane. Flicking it through the first Lasmo into the second Lasmo now. Using a bit of DRS. Almost a second up on his time. And he's invalidated. That's not good for Remco. As the Haas gives people a juicy little slipstream. Vries goes P5 with his lap there. Very good lap. Who's next? Callum Clark's just starting his lap. Here comes Daniel to finish his lap. Goes P8. Oh God, who's next? Aston Martin. T-Rex. Goes P9. Alpine of Suchol. Goes fastest by 3 milliseconds. Great lap by him. Who's next? Kick-Sauber. Quesadilla. 2/10 up on his time. Here we go now. Into Parabolica. Flick the car in. Keep it flat. As he goes across the line, it's going to be a 19.6. Next up is Darius. He's going to go P4. Great lap by him. And that is qualifying complete. Suchol is your man on pole. Followed by João Santos, David, Zolf, Quesadilla, Callum, Vries, Charlie, Daniel, T-Rex, Joel, Elliott, Remco, Nick Hill, Isfod, and Rongson serving his quality bomb. There we go. There's your pole sitter. Suchol in the Alpine. Top 4 separated by less than 1/10 of a second. 3 thousandths separating the front row. Great stuff by the lads there. You know, wait for the drivers. Don't have to wait long because we go to 3, 4, 5 red lights in front of the drivers. Lights out and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. No, that's David Sweck, innit? Making a bit of contact with other drivers. As Daniel gets 3 seconds for cutting the corner, and there's gets a 10-second. Joel Harris gets DSQ'd. Absolute chaos here. Charlie Roberts gets a 10-second time penalty. We are under VSC. T-Rex gets a 10-second as well. Jesus Christ. Quesadilla's down in 15th. He's lost 10 positions. Show me the details. Position changes. Darius up 1, Callum Clark up 2, so is Vries, Elliott up 6, Charlie up 1, Remco up 5, T-Rex up 1, David down 7, Daniel down 2, Wrongston up 4, Nick Hill up 1, Isford up 1, and Quesadilla down 10. Right, let's move back up to the front. As we are back under racing here, no one getting a drive-through penalty. Good stuff, lads, well done. Almost an equal split between the drivers on mediums and hards, but it's predominantly mediums. As Darius goes a bit deep on the exit of turn 2. Now go into the Delaroche. Flinging it through the Lesmos. Suchol has already gained a 1 second gap. This is good for him. But that gap has immediately been closed back down. Through Ascari. Oh, I love that camera angle. As Isford makes a move on, Nick Hill, Quesadilla's in a wall. That's going to bring out the VSC. Fairly hefty shunts as well. For the Kick Sauber. So we've now had 2 VSCs in 2 laps. Well done, boys. This is what F5's all about. And Daniel gets a drive-through for speeding under safety car, for speeding under VSC. Callum Clark also gets a 3-second time penalty for cutting a corner. Nick Hill and Isford having a mighty old scrap at the back. We are going to move further up though. T-Rex with a bold move. It's not bold. It's ridiculous, if anything. Who's that with the Sonny Hayes helmet? I saw that. T-Rex now going very slowly in front of Wrongson. Wrongson went for a gap that didn't exist. Now he goes for a lunge into a scar. He doesn't quite pull it off. Not his fault. T-Rex goes wide. And now Wrongson's up to P10. Here comes Charlie Roberts down the inside of David. Into Parabolica, keeping it clean. Side by side through Parabolica. Great move by Charlie Roberts. Here comes Bastian Vries on Callum Clark. Getting the move done. Good move by him. There's Nick Hill's now Binder in Parabolica. And T-Rex dives into the pits. We're going to stay with these guys in the middle here. Because they're having a nice little battle. Charlie Roberts getting close to the rear of Remco. While Callum Clark is also fairly close to the rear of Bastian Vries. So now I'm going to go back down to David. As Charlie goes onto the grass. He's into the wall. That was not good by him. Anyways, moving back up the field. Isford gets past Charlie Roberts now because of his little moment. We're going to ride on, but we're going to follow the Haas of Callum Clark. Diving now into Parabolica. Picking up the throttle now. Using the battery. Charles Santos sets the fast lap of the race. DRS open, draining the battery. It's going to be to the right, to the outside of turn 1. Simple move on the straight. Quesadilla leaves the session. T-Rex makes a move on Daniel. Charlie Roberts dives into the pits. Now then, what's going to happen next? Remco's caught the back of this little train that now no longer exists. Remco's potentially underfueled as well. That's always what you want to see. And Elliott's just driven into a wall. Then goes back over to the other side of the track, making the move. Stick does Remco as Elliott drives off the track. Don't really know what Elliott's doing though. As Elliott could potentially go for a move around the outside at Parabolica. This could be interesting. Backs out of it. Here comes David. Tiny bit wide an exit there. David's going to get a double slipstream here. Can he make 2 moves in the span of a straight? Going to go to the outside, goes to the inside, backs out of it. Remco goes deep. He switches them both. Great move by David. As Remco does get a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit offences. Callum Clark gets back ahead of Bastian Vries, now right in the rear of Darius, making the move on Darius. Into the first Lesmo, good move by the Haas. It's now the 2 challengers for the race lead. And now within DRS range of each other. Darius trying to go round the outside, underneath the bridge, underneath the old banking, getting the move done. That's surely track limits for Darius. Talia Parker gets 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. It's not good for him. We now go on board with the Ferrari of Gel Santos. No, we're not. We're going to go further down the field because Remco and Rongson are having a scrap. But it looks like Zhao's making a move for the race lead, potentially down the inside under the brake. Getting the car stopped, nicely done by the Ferrari. They're going to be side by side into the Curve Grande. No, they're not. So we see Elliot Parker just going straight on and getting a 10-second time penalty for his actions. Rongson keeps the position as the two people fighting for the race lead try to go side by side through the Della Roggia. This allowing the train of three to catch up behind. This T-Rex sets the fastest lap of the race. Into Ascari. Get in and good move. Get in. Alright, that was horrendous by Callum though. We're going to ride on board with the Dutchman in P5, Bastian Vries. Slamming on the brakes, flicking it into Parabolica. Great line by Bastian there. It's going to be DRS wide open. Into the first chicane, we've got yellow flags of Nick Hill facing backwards. It's not going to hamper anyone, that's good. As Remco makes a move on Rongson further down the field. Good move, potentially, by the V-Guard. Can now go into the Della Roggia. Clipping the apex nicely. Does Callum. Going into the first Lesmo. Down to third gear. I'll take that in fifth, I think. Anyways. DRS wide open for the pass. Into Ascari. All this battling, well, non-battling is allowing David to catch back up. David's now in DRS range. Now we've got a four-way train. So now go through Parabolica. We're going to follow Callum here as João Santos and Suchol and Darius dive into the pits. That's going to be double stacking for the two Ferraris there. Why have I gone all the way down? Not too bad of a double stack there for the Ferrari boys. We're now going to go to our new top three that currently lead this race. Callum Clark is leading the pack. Only by half a second to Bastian Vries, who's taken a lot of curb through the Della Roggia. And maybe taking it in fourth, probably. It must be fourth as Callum goes deep. Here comes Bastian round the outside of the King. Getting the move done. Remco does get another 3-second time penalty. Blooming heck, Bastian. That was a lot of inside curve there. Suchol gets a 3-second time penalty. Through goes Callum Clark. On Bastian Vries. Callum's going to dive into the pits. Now we have a two-way fight for the race lead up front. Nothing from... Not from there, surely. to now go into the Delorossia. Through the second Lesmo now. DRS open for the Sauber driver. Through Ascara now, not a good line there by the Dutchman. So we see yellow flags further down the field. That'll be Nick Hill as David takes the race lead. So now going to go further down the field with Remco now. DRS open. Trying to get past Elliott into turn one. More yellow flags. That's going to be Nick Hill again. Just putting the nose in is Remco. Darius sets the fastest lap on hards. As Charlie Roberts gets a 3-second time penalty. So you go as further down the field, the two Aston Martin drivers switching positions. Two drivers of Remco and Elliott going side by side as the top two dive into the pits off their hard compounder tyres. Into the first chicane, side by side. I don't know what if. Give me one sec. I don't know what happened there. If Remco just broke a bit deep or Elliott just turned across him. Probably neither. Further down the field, Callum Clark round the outside at the Curva Grande. Great move by the Haas on Darius. So now I'm going to go underneath the old banking. Two guys up front getting very, very close. Remco going onto the grass there for a short moment. Around the outside at Parabolica, surely not. Indeed, surely not. As João Santos is getting right on the rear now of these drivers as Remco is going to go down the inside, securing the move on Elliott. Good stuff by him. As Darius makes a move on Callum, sorry. João Santos is right in the rear of the guys in front. Callum Clark gets a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits multiple times. João Santos potentially getting slowed down as Callum Clark makes a move into Ascari. Vries gets 3 second time penalty now. Bit of contact there by João, punting Elliott off the track. DRS for both João and Suchol. Suchol to the inside. Is he gonna make the move? Yes, he is. Later on the brakes. João trying to get a nice run out of the chicane. But here comes Suchol. Down the inside of the Curva Grande. Shocking camera angle. Suchol is immediately just let through by Remco. So is João. That's close. That's caused João to lose DRS to Suchol. Wow. Here comes Callum Clark. Now. Right on the rear of Darius. Saving a bit of battery. Remco gets another 3 second time penalty. And I'm going to go back up to the leaders who have already pitted. Onto the main straight. They go. As Elliott dives into the pits. João saving a bit of fuel there as T-Rex gets a 3 second time penalty. Further down the field we have got Elliott, not Elliott. Why do I keep calling Callum Elliott? They're not even similar names. Callum, they're right in the rear of Darius now. Turning into the second Lesmo. Second Lesmo? That was the first Lesmo. What am I on about? Here comes Callum Clark. Underneath the banking. Into Ascari. Not quite making the move. On the Irishman in the Ferrari. So you see more yellow flags. That'll be Nick Hill. So you see David looking for a move on the Haas. Further up the grid now, we could see a change for the race lead. Remco now gets a 10 second time penalty. João is just going to stay behind. So now go heavy into the braking zone of turn 1, flicking it through turn 2. Getting a nice run through the Curva Grande. Through the first Lesmo with the Haas. Tiny bit of a slide there for the Haas, I think. He's got 1 lap fresher tyres than the Ferrari in front. The two up ahead getting fairly close now. They're going to go down the straight into Parabolica. Getting an alright exit out of Parabolica is João. He's going to go for the move here. He's draining the battery, pulling to the inside, making the move stick. Now go further down the field. David getting fairly close to rear of the Haas. Still getting fairly close to the rear of the Haas. So now go through the Curva Grande. Into Della Rosia chicane. More yellow flags, there'll be a Nick Hill letting people pass. Bit of a slide again for the Haas of Callum Clark, getting a bit twitchy on exit there as Elliot Parker makes a move on Charlie Roberts. David looking to the inside, dummy in a move. Flying out of Ascari as Wrongson gets a 3-second time penalty. Callum defending the inside from David. Using a bit of grass on the inside. Does David. Here comes Callum. Not going for the move on Darius. Which is a smart play. So we now have 10 laps to go of the Italian Grand Prix. Oh my god. Into the Della Rosia. The car's just flinging through the first Lesmo into the second Lesmo now. T-Rex sets the fastest lap, but once more. So you see more yellow flags, there'll be Nick Hill again. They go through Ascari. Onto the straight towards Parabolica. Into the pits goes Callum Clark. This is interesting. Wrongson's into the pits as well. Are the tyres really this bad on this track? They're onto another set of hards. They're going to have to do basically the exact same stint on the same tyres as Darius gets a 3-second time penalty. Only 4 more drivers to go until everyone's got a 3-second time penalty. 4 more drivers. Did I say 3 or 4? But it's definitely 4. Darius with another 3-second time penalty. Remco gets a 3-second time penalty as well. Let me have a look. If all of those just came at the same point. Blooming heck. Yeah, they're just getting 3 warnings at once. As Darius dives into the pits. Like, take Callum for example. He got 1 warning, a penalty, then 3 more warnings, and a time penalty. João Santos also dived. João and Suchol both dived into the pits there as well, as Remco has now split the 2 drivers out in front. Could Remco finish in a solid position? He does have to lift and coast massively though, letting past Suchol without a fight. Good stuff by him. Need to adjust my headphones. There we go. This is the part of the race where I have not a lot to say. As Vries now is in the pits. This is just the part of the race where I don't know what else to do and just go quiet. As Ramco gets 3-second time penalty. How many penalties is that? No, wrong one. He's up to 25. Christ. Elliott with a 3-second time penalty now. Darius dives to the inside, back to the outside, can't quite pull a move off. Round Parabolica now. DRS wide open for the Irishman. Callum also burning Darius to the inside. Clean racing between the pair of them. But at the current rate, David's going to be in that P3 position. Even though he's P6 at the current moment. Because Ramco's got 25 seconds. Callum's got 9 and Darius has got 6. And the gap's 2 seconds between them. Well, 1.7 now. It's the gap between David and Callum. I was very early on the brakes by Callum. We're now into the final 5 laps of the race. Oh, lag. Love to see it. David is now within DRS range of Darius. Callum Clark gets another 3-second time penalty. So does T-Rex. As Ramco dives into the pits. Daniel retires in the pits. Charlie Roberts with a 3-second now. Here comes David round the outside at Curva Grande. Can't quite pull the move off. So I dropped something. Heavy on the brake, flicking it through, breeze with a 30-second now. We now have 3 laps to go. North the Italian Grand Prix. Now go. DRS wide open. Into Ascari. Down to 4th gear for David. Trying to get a run on Darius. Into Parabolica. Faking a move. Nick Hill with a 10-second speeding in the pits. So now go into Ascari. David closing in on a move. Darius getting a better run through Ascari. As Zhao starts the final lap of the race here. Then I'll be able to get some practice for the F3 race. Going down into the first chicane. Remco with another 3-second. Ronson's right in the rear of Bastion. I've only just noticed that. Going into the Della Roggia. No move being made by anyone. Flicking it through the Lesmo. Darius almost going very deep. 4-way DRS train now. It's gonna be a drag race. On the straight. David almost touching the grass on entry. Here we go. Remco with another 3-second. Yellow flags further ahead. Suchol's out of fuel. Suchol's run out of fuel. Here comes Callum Clark to take the P2 off him for a split second. But David goes P3 in the end. João Santos wins, followed by Suchol, David, Rongson, Zolf, Vries, Callum, T-Rex is rounding the final corner. There's moves further down the field. Remco's run out of fuel as well. T-Rex crossed the line P8, Isfod 9th. Charlie Roberts also ran out of fuel in 10th. Elliot P11. Remco's going to crawl across the line in P12. And across the line, it's gonna be Nick Hill who rounds out the grid. João Santos is your winner for Ferrari. He wins, followed by Suchol, David, Rongson, Darius Vries, Callum, T-Rex, Isfod, Charlie, Elliot, Remco, and Nick Hill. Followed by the retirees of Daniel Quesadilla and Joel Harris. I've been your commentator, Sparrow Maltby. I will also quickly do the good old race director, which has a lot of warnings and a lot of time penalties. But yes, as I said, I've been your commentator, Sparrow Maltby. And we will see you next week for the... Give me one sec. I'm always unprepared for this. For the... Where's the calendar? There it is. For the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I'll see you then. Goodbye.